I think Motivate, they're going to try and up the tempo as much as possible.
There you go, the Wraith King. Okay, I was thinking maybe Motivate may have thought about that just because of the AA pairing. I feel like that's always kind of a nice combo in the laning phase at least, but like you were saying, they're not really going to be able to make many movements to help keep these towers alive, especially with the Wraith King now. Like, he's potentially going to be building into that Radiance. May opt to go for the faster pace item build with something like an armlet, but it does really feel like Lilgun's safe lane. They might not die in the lane because of the sustain, but the towers might take a bit of a hit. Oh no. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I don't know. I'm not gonna say oh no, because I'm yet to see the Medusa after the patch, so I want to see how this hero still feels.
I think it's totally fine. You know, these first three heroes from Motivate, they're going to be able to create a lot of pressure on the map. Dusa, like, it's very much the opposite for her. Like, Warlock and Wraith King, they're never going to rotate towards the Dusa. If the Dusa is dying because of those two heroes, it's because she's out of position. So it's all going to be on the Earth Spirit and the Puck. And right now, you've only got two heroes versus the strength of three on Motivate's side. And it seems like both of the offlaners still to come for both of these two sides. So Lilgun definitely needs something else that's going to be able to up the tempo and is somewhat decent against the Medusa. Maybe a Doom or something like that might not be too bad, just because the Infernal Blade, its damage is based off of percentage HP. Not sure if it's current or max, actually. I might have to check that. Max HP. Okay, so it doesn't even matter. The good thing with like a lot of the current HP abilities, like let's say the Zeus static field, is that if you use it against Medusa, she's almost always going to be 100% HP because you've got to get rid of her mana first. So it actually ends up dealing a whole lot more damage over and over and over again. But I think Doom's still a totally fine build here, just because, again, she's going to have high HP, Infernal Blade's going to do a lot of damage, and the Doom means that you can full-on commit to a fight. You're not worried about the Stone Gaze being able to turn around onto you. Or, hell, you can even just use it onto a Mirana super early on, right? You don't have any escape mechanisms, you're very squishy.
No, I'm a huge fan of the Doom this game, because Medusa's survivability as well comes through from constantly spamming out that snake. So getting rid of that, all you're going to really be doing is standing your ground and right clicking, which
and there's no defensive supports either, right?
Yep.
5 seconds remaining.
That does really feel like a weak lane too. The Medusa Ancient Apparition double range, like you are. That feels actually really weird for how they can play it, because if Lilgun now go for an aggressive 3 for Marvel,
Admiral Conker.
Is this?
It's a lot of tempo, that's for sure.
What position do we think the Conquer is going to be played in?
I mean, just based off of what's happened recently, it still does feel like a mid, but the DK matchup just feels so much better against the Puck because of that tower taking potential and just general survivability. Sure, you can X marks yourself, go back to Fountain, refill your bottle, but it just doesn't feel like it feels like you're expending that. And then if you're doing that, that's just a trigger for the Puck to say, right, he's used his TP, time to go and do something because I'm not going to get punished because of it. We're guaranteed going to have a strength of numbers for a rotation. Right now, they are pretty damn reliant on long duration cooldowns here on Lilgun's side. You know, if they don't have the chaotic offering, if they don't have the ravage, that opens up some huge possibilities for Motivate to be able to make something happen on the map.
Yeah, it does feel like though Lilgun, with this high intensity team fight lineup that they have, I wonder if that's going to be the downfall of Motivate, because we see that their team fight is slightly lacking at the moment. It's really going to come down to, you know, if Jackie can be that raid boss on the Medusa. Like, it's now, we were saying they don't really have defensive support. You kind of get that now, at least a defensive factor in the Conquer with the run buff. So that's at least something to keep in mind if he can get it off. And it is going to be Fearless on the Conquer, which I think the DK matchup, like we were saying, is probably slightly better. Conquer definitely still fares pretty well because of the low armor that the Puck has. So the Tidebringer is always able to still rip through the Puck's health pool.
Thanks a lot.
Sure. Sanctity, he's shown time and time again, though, that he's very, very mechanically skilled, so we might even see some cheeky phase shift dodges from the Tidebringer cleave. Who knows, though? I mean, I wonder if Fearless is even going to go into, like, an earlier than usual Agcept just to be able to protect Medusa a little bit more. You know, if you've got all of those torrents going off in the middle of a team fight, it's a lot harder for the Earth Spirit to set up onto you. The Wraith King can't just sit there and right-click consistently. And, you know, it's obviously, you've still got the strength of a DK. Like, you don't need to rely heavily on the damage from the Conqueror. It is a lot of CC from a mid laner for sure.
Yeah, very much is. They've kind of got that crowd control, but how we feel about heading to this game one, the debut for Motivate, their recent history, DPC, flawless. You know, in a third-party tournament like the OEDL, they did get 3-0'd from Army Geniuses in the grand final.
In the grand final, yeah. So they still got second in that. They just won the PNX Bet Invitational. So, you know, that was against Neon as well, who aren't slouches. They beat Execration too. So, some pretty high-caliber opponents that they were able to beat. I think they're also playing in a tournament that's like maybe Moon Studio, that are combined between C and China. They're doing great against all their C opponents, but they're actually losing to a few of the Chinese opponents. So it just shows the difference in playstyle, how big of an impact that can have.
As we get to see how the odds are looking as well. Motivate.
He's going to walk into this smoke gank.
Oh. Masteros, oh no. Well, that's a good start for Lilgun. Pick up. Who do they want to give first blood to? I don't think they're
probably
wanting
1, 2, 3, but yoinks it.
Oh, the Warlock's like, hey, I'm gonna take that. Thank you very much. Not that I meant it, but love to see it.
He's a beast. It finishes up his Bassi ring as well, which is going to be really nice for this Wraith King. You can just continuously spam out that Shadow Word, even getting the group D ward off, so everyone's going to have a little bit of XP going in the lane.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
He's even in a position here. He's already leveled up the Sacred Arrow as well, so if they went all together as a team, they honestly had the potential to get a secondary kill there with the Gush, with the slow from the Wraith Pyre Blast, as well as the stun, and of course Hishki rolling in. So that's going to be three bounties, first blood, and a D ward already going a little bit.
Great start for them. See that. All this influx of gold, and maybe it might give them a bit of a advantage here. Some experience as well for a lot of the boys. Maybe that's going to help them get their level 2 timings. How do we feel like some of these lanes are going to fare? Is there any lanes we should mainly be keeping our eyes out for?
It's pretty low kill, to be honest. Across all of them, maybe this Earth Spirit Tidehunter can make something happen. You know, as soon as that level 2 comes online, Hishki can roll in, kick back into a Gush in the middle of a creep wave. Might be enough to take out something like the Ancient Apparition if Lionax is ever out of position.
Oh, see it now. Just off the mark from Hishki. And like you were saying, Q, he already did level up that Sacred Arrow. It's going to be nice because they have the Dragon Knight in this lane. We've seen a lot of the Sand Kings paired with the Mirana because the point target stun. And we've definitely seen what a DK can do in the offlane with the Mirana too. So if they're able to land these arrow connections onto Ace 12, maybe even 1, 2, 3 if they bring him low enough.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Masaros, he's still holding on to a skill point, so obviously realizing the threat that long duration stun can have, 2.5 seconds into an arrow, can be very devastating against something like the Warlock. Right now, though, they're just prioritizing getting rid of those range creeps, but they're making a bit of a move in onto Masaros here, who does finally level up the Dragon Blood for a little bit of that extra survivability.
It's just it's a mess of these side lanes at the moment. The DK falling low, Lionax just trying to contest the pulls at the moment. What do you feel like the reasoning is for Lilgun to go for this creep kind of shenanigans with how they drag the wave behind the tower against the Medusa? Because it feels like Tide can still lane pretty well versus that hero. Are they just looking to deny as much as possible away? Bot lane.
It's getting low again.
Ace.
There's the strength of that Dragon Tail. All you need is 1 point. It's such a value point. 2.5 seconds. Yeah, minimal damage, but you don't really care. You know, you want to be spamming out a lot of your other spells to secure these range creeps a lot of the time. So,
Dire's courier has been
nicely
killed.
done. Be able to get a lot of that done. I mean, you never want to really be copping the harass all that much. I feel like it's just about building this experience lead so that eventually Hishki could start to make these rotations. He's only level 1 at the moment, giving essentially all of the experience over to Marvel. But I'm sure he's want to at least get level 2 before starting to make some of these moves happen.
And then we take a look at the last lane here. At mid, Fearless having a great time at the moment versus Sanctity's Puck. And, you know, Sanctity was kind of the star yesterday for Lilgun in a lot of their performances. So we'll see how he's able to fare in a matchup which I'd say is not as in the Puck's favor. But, you know, it can still come down to a skill base and how he's able to play. You see, though, the Tidebringer rips through him.
And that was even when Sanctity was standing underneath the tower too, so he had that extra 3 armor. 1, 2, 3. He's gonna get gone on a little bit here, and again, it just shows the Dragon Tail was on cooldown. They landed the arrow previously, and they've still got it up in about 15 more mana. So Q, he's gonna stick around. I believe is that a completed urn? He does have a full urn coming out to him already, so really nicely done. He's even gonna rotate back and grab up that bounty rune, as the Conquer hasn't gone for the bottle.
The prize is mine.
Can they even get the kill on Hishki? It's gonna be a lot of damage
they'll be able to.
if they block the roll. It's not gonna matter now with the X. That kick distance. Still gonna get brought back to the grasping hands of the Kunkka. Fearless picking up his first kill of the game. Double brace already, so we're gonna see how tanky this man can get at the early stage.
And they actually had the urn delivered just before the kill as well, so they were able to get the initial 2 charges in. Pops one onto Fearless, so make sure he's fighting fit to go straight back to the lane, and they've still got that 1 charge for when he rotates back towards the bottom side of the map. I'm sure Masteros is going to try and get himself in position to get another one of these Dragon Tail stuns off into an arrow. Let's see if Lilgun have kind of scoped this out a little bit, because you can go for the body blocks as well to make sure that you're not getting the chain stun through.
Do have a lot of creeps to run through, unfortunately for Masteros, if he was looking to go for that, but they're not really going to be able to reset the equilibrium as well. There's no hard camp for Radiant to pull. They've got a stack at the small, but Warlock, he didn't go over there fast enough to get the pull off, so it's still going to mean that...
Now. Yeah, he'll do it now. He's got his boots. I mean, the advantage of getting that first blood, right? You get that Bassi ring super early on. They've even got the Kobold camp, so the creeps are going to move fast too.
This could be a little scary because we see like Masteros is going double bracer into a hood. We already, like I said, the Conquer's got double bracer. He can be really hard to bring down, especially once you get that ultimate out. So it looks like Motivate are really just looking to try and tank up. Do you feel that Lilgun might lack damage through the early game because of the itemization from Motivate?
I think so, but they actually get the final arrow reaches onto Hishki, and Jackie's able to deal with it there. They might be lacking damage. It is rectified somewhat, though, if they get the a really nice Fatal Bonds onto multiple people, because they've got a decent amount of AoE damage with the Magnetize, with the Ravage, Puck, of course, with his combination, and that's not even talking about the Warlock Golem that's eventually going to start coming out too. So it's all going to be on the positioning of Ace. I wonder if his name is like, we call him Ace and Ace 12. I wonder if his name is like Acer, because 1, 2 kind of look like an R, you know, in lead speak.
Does it?
I think that's always been the thing. Like R has always just been 1, 2. It was before your time.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be like, trying to see if that was the case or not. I don't know if anyone. I don't know if he was in an interview or something in the upper division. I guess we'll have to... Somehow we're gonna have to find out.
I feel like it is. That's just me though, you know? Maybe the 12 means something else.
Maybe we can ask him in the lobby next time.
Maybe it's a tribute to your age, you know?
Radiant's middle tower is
What?
under attack.
I'm not the... What?
Radiant's
Why am I
turret
being
has
called
been
12? What's going on?
Just a Zuba, it's fine. All right, we might have another Dragon Tail set up here. They land the arrow, but they're not in a position to set up with the Dragon Tail. And Hishki actually came in to join them as well, so nothing's going to result from it. He's still sticking around though. Very strong with this initial setup rotation. If they're able to get in onto Q, he doesn't have any of the Urn of Shadows charges anymore, so he's not going to be able to heal himself up. If he gets out of space, out of position, sorry, once, he might be in a bit of trouble. It is under nighttime though, so I don't think he sees him until it's going to be too late and they're right next to the tower, so he's going to back off.
We haven't really seen any successful rotations right now from Hishi. I mean, he's got 1 assist. It's been a part of the only one, but that would have been first blood, so still yet to see what this Earth Spirit is able to do on the side lane. Same with Sanctity, who's level 8, is going to be a little bit more freed up to make rotations this game just because the Dragon Knight not being at the mid lane. So we'll see if that's how much that's going to impact Sanctity. But already, I think one thing to mention is like Jackie's taking stacks in the jungle. Like they do a very good job to prioritize Jackie's farm, and we already see that he's got like a trail of stack camps leading him to the triangle, and he has to be loving life.
Yeah, Hishki, he's going to be able to spot it out. He steals one of the creeps away, but it's not going to result in all that much. Jackie's going to walk all the way back to base, and all this time, AA, he's just been sitting in the trees, just leeching up this sweet, sweet experience, not wanting to give his position away. I mean, you're against a level 7 Tide Hunter, and now the Wraith King, level 5, almost level 6, is going to join. Wonder if they could try and make a defensive play happen here, but you've got all 5 heroes on Lilgun starting to make their way towards the top. Sanctity, he decides better of it, goes back to the mid lane, makes sure that they're not going to lose too much of that map control.
You'd hate to see one of those corridors just fly over him. If Wraith King was actually still positioning at that tower, it might have with the angle.
Yeah, and with AA, like, all you really care about super early on is experience. You know, if you can get an early-ish level 6, you're going to be pretty happy. It's not going to happen, you know, it's 9 minutes. He's going to need the tome to hit that level 6 as well. But the rest of his team is super fun. I mean, Q is already level 6. He was level 5 at, like, the 7-minute mark, which is nuts. And they're going to have the usefulness of that Moonlight Shadow. Might need to pop it now because Fearless is TPing in right on top of Marble.
Double brace up, 7 stick charges as well, and as long as he gets the ultimate off, I don't think they get this kill.
He actually snapped the coil, but it's going to be okay.
He's moving really speedy as well, 425 without the phase bonus. I mean, that is boat on cooldown, but now with Master showing up mid, and now you're gonna have to go through a second hero that's just as beefy as the Conquer.
Ravage, though.
They'll turn around with the Ravage, Fatal Bond's dropped as well, Sanctity showing up, dropping the combo to be able to deal with the Conquer. Lilgun still have the numbers, but gotta keep in mind that Ravage is now on cooldown, and you're also not gonna have Hishki for this team fight. How long do they want to stick around? And because you gotta keep in mind that the farm that they're losing across the map for them not getting a worthwhile trade.
Marvel's taking very little damage right now. I mean, he's under the effects of the, Massos is under the effects of the Anchor Smash, but it's still going to be enough to take out Sanctity, who is a lot less squishy.
Oh, Hishki, another miss on the roll. Do you see the levels really coming into play? Mirana being 6 already. You know, the damage she's able to dish out, they can leap on forward, and this should just be another kill for them. Hishki rolls up in a couple of seconds, but Q, point blank arrow. Q's been a part of 7 out of the 8 kills here from Motivates. An incredible start for your Mirana, level 7 as well.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, really making the most use out of that urn. You gotta get active if you go. You can't just build an urn and play like some passive lane-based game. Just constantly roaming around, getting these deep wards down as well, which is going to make his game style even easier. Daytime staving him a little bit there as he leaps away from the Puck Illusory Orb. He had the Dream Coil available, but I think until that Witchblade is up, Puck can't really be making too many maneuvers himself.
Fearless might even get a solo kill on Ace up top. Oh, he's got the Ice Blast coming. Well, that'll be the damage that was required to help out, but you see the importance for Motivate to keep that tier 1 tower alive in the middle lane. Like, it just really limits how aggressive Lilgun were wanting to play to infiltrate the Medusa's farm, but they're the ones that actually picked up their own tier 1 tower mid. So this can just the real estate they have across the map, and just more importantly, the space that Jackie will continue to get on the Medusa.
Yeah, I mean, space experience levels, you've got a level 8 Wraith King now compared to a level 11 Medusa. Like, that's not the most ideal start that you can have, and it just goes to show the strength of having this Deucer, right? You can take these Ancients.
Top
Marble,
lane.
he's level 8, but he's taken a ton of damage.
Yeah, they got that Ice Blast connection. Marble's still going to try and stick around and turn with the help of Lilgun's reinforcements. Core's going to get broken here. Mirana's got one more leap charge. The Orbi might continue to chase from Sanctity. Waning Rift still on cooldown, but at least they get the silence roll follow-up from Hishki. So this time Lilgun will be able to get a couple, but again, they're not going to transition it into an objective. Maybe the objective kill will be on Jackie, but instantly the Rainbow TP's Conquer along with Master's going to show up. You see the numbers in support to be able to protect the Medusa. Now they're going to look to turn as well. A great silence on 2, but it will not disrupt the combination from the Conquer as Marvel dragged back to his death.
Is under attack.
Yeah, he had the Ravage available, but it would have been a waste using it at that time. They didn't have the Chaotic Offering, they didn't have the Dream Coil, no real damage potential on their lineup, especially with all the support coming through from Motivate. Q, that was probably the first mistake that he's made this entire time. You know, he did a good job to break the coil super early on so that he wasn't held in place, but he still hasn't used that Moonlight Shadow, and they were lacking detection on the Earth Spirit, so they wouldn't have actually been able to kill it.
Behold!
Radiant are scanning.
And we've seen already the prowess of the combo from the DK, even the Conquer now, to be able to set up for the Mirana Arrow.
Got the
Sanctity.
coil.
Find the kill, dodges the stun. We go up to the northern side. Sanctity is eating a lot of damage, especially with the tower, and he's actually going to get punished here.
I mean, that's just unlucky. You have no way of knowing Lion Axe is just waiting there behind him.
See, with that information, they tried to make a very aggressive maneuver to that top jungle to see if they could catch a hero out away from the team that was showing down bot. But, I mean, Fearless, 1700 HP, level 12, so 2 points in the ultimate. He's got the Orchid as well. Just see, it just rips apart the Earth Spirit. Like, he had full health, then just one combo's gone.
He had full health, and he knew the entire rest of the team was there backing him up because of this Observer Ward right underneath the outpost. So, ballsy move there by Fearless, but, I mean, if the team doesn't help their mate, you know, we talk about save your mate syndrome kind of being a downside to a lot of these teams. That time, you had the potential there to be able to save them.
Silent, here I am!
And
Nothing wrong with saving your mate when you're all still healthy.
yeah. And meanwhile, Jackie's getting so much farm. Like, it's actually crazy. He's already got 2 components completed of the Aghanims. Sanj and Yasha completed. He is top of the net worth and looking like there will be no contention at all. 1, 2, 3's farm is just unable to compete. They're going to be careful around a choke point. Ace. Oh, that's a bit of a whiff on the ultimate. At least he drops the Fatal Bonds. Ravage going to come out as well, connecting on 2. The ZK taking the full brunt to the force at the moment, but he's going to get a lot of absorption thanks to the Hood. Even Jackie's going to look to show up for the team fight as well. A buyback will come through from Hishki. They're trying to focus down the Dragonite at the moment. Finally, the run buff is going to be able to come through. Now with the Stone Gaze, it forces Lilgun to split away from Marvel, so he's going to get caught out of the river. Motivate. Do they look to continue to reset now, knowing that they've used a couple of their own ultimates? They're going to jaunt up to the northern side, but the detection, it's just not there at the moment. So Motivate. They do end up losing Mastros, but they get 2 in return.
What have we here?
It's little things, that team fight, that make the huge difference. I'm not sure if it was something that he manually did there or if it was just a split shot, but Jackie actually ended up killing the courier that had the Sacred Relic for 1, 2, 3. So he wasn't able to join the team fight with having any decent amount of presence. You know, he's got 6.8k net worth, but you know, essentially he has about 3,000 compared to the 10,000 that Medusa has, just because that one was sniped away. And then you compare that with Motivate, you had that smoke gank come out through them. The courier of Lion Axe was actually kept at the tier 1 tower, not wanting to connect through and reveal the fact that they were moving to the Radiant side of the map. So it's just these small little details that are the big difference when it comes to teams that are this close.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And you just see those small little things, how Motivate can turn that into such a big advantageous position with the net worth regard. I mean,
And then again, they're smoking up. They know the rock was dropped. They knew the Ravage was used. Even help magnetized. It's going to be back up off cooldown. Dream Coil's available. Level 2 Dream Coil as well. Astaros, though, no TP. He has Elder Dragon form, but no TP, so he's not going to be able to join in onto this team fight.
And you were speaking about all the ultimates being on cooldown, but it's also without the radiance from 1, 2, 3. I mean, his Kori got sniped, which had the Sacred Relic. He's trying to finish off the recipe as well. The whiff on the initiation. Now they gotta be careful if they burst through Sanctity. Combo Ice Blast as well. He's gonna try and hide himself out with the phase shift. Your Scepter as well, but that's not gonna be enough as Mastros will clean up with the Green Fire and now wants to deal with the extra control in the backline, which is Hishki's Earth Spirit. Both the supports getting targeted early on from Motivate, which is able to net them a successful team fight.
Rare mistake there from Sanctity, getting caught out. He had the phase shift maxed out, but he still got caught by the full X Marks Torrent combination coming through from Fearless. So, a bit of a misplay there. Just means that your entire structure crumbles when you don't get that Dream Coil off. Wraith King, at the very end of that team fight, finally had the Radiance coming out to him. So now, at least, he's level 12. He's going to be able to make something out of this engagement. Oh, he had to walk back to get the Quicksilver Amulet, but it might cost him.
A little bit of help coming on over. Also has that reincarnation as well, so he wants to stick around. It's just Ace at the moment. They'll deal with the first life. Are they going to be able to kill him a second time though? Great rock onto 2. Fatal Bonds as well. The Dragon Knight, he's getting ripped apart from all the damage. Sanctity is going to be able to drop the coil on 2 with a follow-up of the Ravage. The ultimate's getting used here, looking to punish Motivate for this deep attempt to bring down the carry from Lilgun, but they weren't able to deal him with a second life. And what's going to cost him as they're forced to retreat away. Jackie controlled. It just has the double supports to back him up. They're even going to buy back on Conqueror as well. Jackie's really difficult to bring down, especially with that Aghanims and Stone Gates. So, I mean, you don't get the kill on the Medusa. You do get a buyback on the Conqueror, though.
I think you're very happy with that for Lilgun. You know, you lost effectively nothing. And, well, the only thing that you have as a bit of a downside is that you know these big teamfight ultimates are off cooldown. Hishki's going to pay with his life. They're going to lose the tier 1 tower. I mean, if you're mine, Ace shouldn't be on this top tower. Like, you just got to realize the fact that it's gone. Marvel, he's going to TP back from where he was standing to the left of that tier 1 tower just to continue farming up. I think that's what you need to do. Put a lot of priority about moving to the other sides of the map, away from a lot of these big objectives that Motivate are keen to try and take. Speaking of objectives, well, they see the Roshan, but they also see Marvel here, and he gets out of there as soon as he sees the Mystic Snake flying towards him.
Yeah, you brought up in the draft that Radiant are very reliant around these long ulti cooldowns, and it looks like Motivated doing a very, very good job at being able to punish that. We've seen some of their smoke maneuvers so far, recognizing that the ultimates are on cooldown for Lilgun, and they don't even have to smoke up this time to walk in the pit. They just feel so strong that they can walk in, and they're kind of daring Lilgun to come at them in this choke point.
They can't. That's the issue. You know, when you go so heavy into these long cooldown ultimates, you literally cannot fight into this, especially with this Dusa, who's nearly level 18, by the way, with 2 lives.
You gotta be careful how long you stick around here from Lilgun. Yeah, they're gonna back off. I'm like, I don't know if you can pressure.
I mean, Motivate, they're just gonna group up and go down mid lane. No reason not to. You've got everything that you could possibly want. Second item, Aghanim Scepter. He was level 16, I believe, when he picked it up. So I've talked about yesterday, the timing was relatively weaker now that they moved the Mystic Stake mana gain to level 20 as opposed to level 15. It's still nice to be able to throw out the Mystic Snakes every 8.5 seconds as opposed to 10, but it's nowhere near as strong as it used to be just a mini patch ago.
Wait, someone got caught out? Oh, okay.
Ace?
Warlock, yeah, definitely has. I don't know if he was trying to
I think he was
ward?
just trying to drag the creep wave, make sure that the backdoor protection would kick in, and then Dusa is keen to join in. He's still got a little bit of that double damage. No, it just expired away, but they're going to get out of dodge on Lilgun.
Oh, please don't roll Hishki.
Gold for my chest.
Okay. Should all be able to make it away. I say that Sanctity is okay. Blinks on cooldown from Mastros.
Is he though?
It's a very good question. We're about to find out. He doesn't have his own blink. Oh, okay. Maybe he's not okay. Oh no, Sanctity. It's no 3, 4, 5 and Puck for his KDA wise, and It's not having the performances like we usually see from the star power position too.
Yeah. I mean, you're going up against a Mirana. I'm a little surprised at how little detection they've got on Lilgun's side. You know these moonlight rotations are going to happen. They've gone for a couple of kills that honestly shouldn't have happened if you did have some kind of detection. So it's not only for the aggressive style. Oh, Ishiki barely gets away before the arrow connects onto him by Q. But yeah, it's looking rough. Dusa in firm control over this game.
Yeah, and you take a look at the heroes that the Medusa's versing as well. These are all heroes that kind of need to come at you. The Earth Spirit, Puck's gonna drop coil. Dusa doesn't give a damn about that. You can stand your ground and right click. The Wraith King's gonna come at you and deal damage and Q. I mean, he's everywhere. He's doing so much. He just pops the smoke from Radiant and now they're all grouped up on mid and I have a lot of information.
Where's the detection? That's what I want to know. You've got that Mystic Snake mana gain now, so you can see Jackie went from about 20% up to 90 just in a single Mystic Snake that they were able to connect onto a creep wave. It's nuts.
Right? They have to kill everyone else but the Medusa. You see they're trying to attempt that. 1, 2, 3. On top of the Ancient Apparition of the backlines, the crit's going to help to bring them down. BKB's used from Fearless. Ravage finally going to get dropped as well with the Fatal Bonds, but there's no extra damage follow-up. The disconnect that is there at the moment from Lilgun. I mean, Wraith King was already starting to disengage as those big ultimates got committed. And they've been able to catch out Sanctity as well. Another great catch from Masteros. And meanwhile, Fearless, he's still hunting the Warlock too. Torrent, long range arrow from downtown. They are doing everything right in this game 1 key from Motivate.
They are. They're taking advantage of the big weaknesses out of Lilgun's draft. And I mean, now the fact that you use the Chaotic Offering, the Ravage defensively to try and just live, and you still ended up dying with getting no one on the other team. I mean, you can just see what's happening. Motivate are like, alright, we're just going to keep pushing you. They're going to even help dive the fountain.
Why not go past tier 4 towers? You still got some set of barracks to get, but you can go back after a kill. Does not matter. And how, like, you're not going to force them away from the high ground now because, I mean, they still have the ages on Jackie, and you also used a lot of your big ultimates previously.
I want to look at the win probability. 97%. This is 100 for mine. Like, in my mind, there is no way that you are going to win this game on Lilgun.
Especially not in a deficit like they are at the moment. 17,000 gold, 2 full sets of barracks. I mean, you've got a tier 2 tower up top. That's really the saving grace right now for them. That is the whole thing.
They could have tier 4'd by now, I think. Like, you got no glyph, you had Elder Dragon form, it's back up again, by the way, and there's no ultimates to be able to contest you. Still, Aegis expires, they're going to play the slow game, pick up their next items that they got from taking more than half of the Radiant base, and just go again.
Yeah, Medusa's about to have 3,000 gold. Actually just buys the item very close to the butterfly, it looks like. You know, Conqueror and DK had an influx of gold as well. Actually looks like the DK's kind of looking to scale a little bit, going for the Sanjin Yasha. So, I mean, they've already got so much damage at the moment, and then having a Dragonite 3 that can potentially scale into the late game is really scary prospect for Lilgun when they're this far down.
There's another Dragonite. He might be the one that they finally do catch out standing on his own.
Just BKB TP.
BKB recently delivered though, yeah. No damage.
Rock's on cooldown and...
Oh no, they connect the arrow onto the puck.
Is the boat going to get the connection fast enough? It's not, but still AC's getting kited right now. So we're not going to see the Fatal Bonds come into play. Jackie with the wraparound too. Slows down Hishi. Sanctity will still fall. They'll lose the Earth Spirit as well to add on to the disaster that it is for them. It's 2 down. Marvel will attempt the TPR, but they've got the stone to be able to turn him through. It's just... it's hard to watch here. Motivate just looking way too clean in their debut.
Alright, Gaben's finally caught up to me. 100% win probability. And that's without the Aegis now, but he's not going to die once, let alone twice. And they're just, yeah, they're going to go tier 4s. Call it, rinse and repeat. Not so ultimate heavy, please, against the Medusa, because if you fail once, she's just going to steamroll you.
Tier 4 is now down. I mean, you got your ultimates for one more fight, and we'll see what they can do. The issue is Motivate doing such a good job to split away from the Medusa so they can't kill the supports. And like, they want you to go on the Medusa. Like, that's exactly what Jackie wants. He doesn't care if they're standing his ground and kidding him. He just runs forward, kills off the Warlock, Ice Blast from downtown as well, and not really much of a last-ditch attempt from Lilgun as they tap out.
No, I mean, we were talking about it before, right? They're not going to have enough damage on Lilgun's side unless they hit the perfect Fatal Bonds, Chaotic Offering combo, but yeah, credit to Motivate as well. They were positioning themselves so that it never really was in a position to be on more than like 2, maybe 3 targets at a time. And yeah, 27-minute game, very dominant performance.
Yeah, very much indeed here from Motivate. It just felt like from the laning phase to the early game, we saw those rotations, the flexibility that they could have, and well, this DK offlane really proved to be a big factor, enabling Q's the laning phase for him to get the early earn. Then we saw what Q could do to help out some of the other lanes, really enabled the Medusa. I think it really started to show how rough of a position Lilgun were in when they tried to take that tier 1 tower mid, and they just ended up losing a big fight. Motivate turned it back around and then got, in fact, Lilgun's tier 1 mid. And it just really just showed that Motivate felt like they're in such a powerful position. Like the itemization as well from them, just recognizing that Lilgun, they're going to lack some damage here in the early game. We itemize tanky, we'll be able to take over, make space for the Medusa. And they did just that here. Just a beautiful, solid performance from Motivate.Trust in their game 1. We're going to look to see what Lilgun can do in the second game, which will be up shortly after a quick break.